Hello and welcome to another episode of Hessy and Maven. I'm Justin.
I'm Raven.
And on this week's episode, this is it, folks. This is the last episode where we are ranking our top 5 favorite Pokemon of various types.
Yeah, the final.
The final one. This has been a long series.
It has been.
And it worked out because there's an even number of Pokemon types.
Yes.
And we went through every single one.
And I love it. I'm still not done with the show. I'm on season 15, I believe.
I'm surprised you're still watching it and it hasn't gotten old.
No, I love it so much.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, I love it. I just want to keep seeing what's happening. I'm on the last season with Brock, which is really bumming me out.
For sure.
Because he's been a constant and I don't like change. I actually love change, but not in shows.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So I'm going to be really sad when he leaves.
Yeah.
I think the next... Oh, God.
Olive's
having what I like to call an episode today, where she gets something caught in her throat. Normally a hair, I think. Long hair will fall into her water bowl, and she'll drink water, and... Yep. She'll drink water and swallow the hair, and then she coughs or hacks, and she gets really stressed out because in 2017 she swallowed a sewing needle, and that was a really traumatic experience for the both of us. And then she will insist to go outside to eat a ton of grass and then throw up all the grass. And she freaks out until we allow her to do that.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. That's the hack that you just heard.
Add it to the laundry list of neuroses by Olive.
Yeah.
Both of the dogs, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. They're special needs.
I know. I need to bring Josie to a Codependence Anonymous meeting. But I think it sets the wrong message if I force her to go.
She has to want it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Olive. Oh my God. This podcast is so... There's no one else in the house, too, so for a millisecond I was like, this should go pretty well.
Yeah.
And then Olive was like, I don't think so. And it was just like, oh, great.
Yep.
Oh, great. We're doing one of your episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, but today is steel and water.
Steel and water types.
Both of these were hard for me. I don't love these types in general.
Interesting.
Yeah, so...
Steel, I'm not surprised, but...
Some of them are a little bit,
finagly, like you picked, random Ultra Beast /
yes. I had to.
This form in this one game evolves into this one type.
I had to.
You are a stinker.
We'll see what you think.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you will have picked, especially because some of them I may not even know.
Yeah.
But first, I wanted to bring up a couple things.
Okay.
Number one was the video of a small shark that you sent me. Only 10 million years old. One of the youngest species of sharks. And this motherfucker can crawl on land.
Yeah. It has really thick fins.
Like little flippers, like seals.
Like seals that it can use to
walk. In terms of visually.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Fucking terrifying.
Yeah. That's evolution for you.
I don't like that. I don't like that they're evolving to be out of water. Like, what are you guys doing? With global warming, there's going to be more ocean now than ever. I know that they're heating up and stuff, and that's probably not good for sharks, but it's not good for anything.
What I feel like happened is they probably got together and they were like, listen, great whites are giving us a bad name. People think that we're, eating their kids left and right at the beach.
We're mean.
They're killing us. So we got to do something about this. We might have to, get out of the ocean.
Yeah, we might have to.
If we, go on land and we hide, they won't even know we're sharks.
They won't even know we're sharks.
They won't come for us.
That's an elaborate plot. Maybe that is it, but either way, it's terrifying.
So now they're starting... They were like...
terrifying to me.
What do they have up there? Legs?
I know.
We can do that.
What do they have that we don't have?
Yeah.
Legs? Have you seen my fins?
All you gotta do is a...
Yes.
And I got it.
If snakes can do it, which are practically eels, we can do it.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is fucking crazy. And obviously, I'm joking around. I'm not actually terrified because evolution takes millions of years, most of the time. So I think we'll be fine in our lifetime. That there won't be.
But the next lifetime,
land speed sharks.
You know.
Oh my god, what a terrifying thought. Because I've always made the joke of like, I'll never swim with sharks. Like I'll run with sharks because now you're on my turf.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not made to be surrounded by water on 360 degrees. No human is. That's not our bag.
Yeah.
Scuba divers are defying God, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing those games, dude. So no thank you. I'm never doing a shark cage thing. The most I'll ever do, and it's really just to knock it off a bucket list of fear, is to maybe go snorkeling in an aquarium while you're scuba diving in the same aquarium. So that you're near them. You'll get bit and then I'll know. I'll hear the bubbles from down below, and I'll know they got her.
Yeah.
Abort. Get out of here.
Time to get out of here.
And then I'll get out of there. And being at the surface, because I'm snorkeling, it's so much faster.
Yeah. It's like when we were canoeing down the Delaware, and I was with Tony and Erin, and our canoe flipped, and I kind of turned around after I flipped out of the canoe to see Erin getting dragged through the rapids by the canoe because her shirt got stuck underneath the canoe. And I thought, there's only death for me that way. So then I booked out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew because I saw Erin dying.
You saw Erin dying and you were like...
And I just left.
I want to help her. The want is there. However, the how, I'm still kind of fucking up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll think about it over there on that rock.
Yeah, let's have a good sit about it. Let's have a good sit down and we'll brainstorm. No wrong ideas, gang. What should we do? That's really funny. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up that shark. That was amazing. That video that you showed me, I was blown away. Really scary stuff. I remember learning a lot about evolution in college and stuff like that because I was a bio major. It comes up. And if you talk to grandma, she'll tell you that those liberal professors brainwashed me.
Yeah, she used to tell me that all the time, that you were only liberal because you went to college.
Because I went to college.
Because that's what colleges are for.
That pesky education.
Yeah.
That pesky learning and books about facts. How dare you?
Yeah, it was a lot of... He only feels that way because he went to college. If he would have went into the military, he would have been fine.
Not in your wildest dream, Grandma. I would have been kicked out of the military for not obeying orders. Probably would have gone AWOL. Maybe punched a cadet in the face. I don't even know what rank cadets are, but I'm punching one. They're below me, above me. I have no idea.
I don't know.
They're getting it, though.
I know nothing.
Yeah, no, that would have been a terrible idea. I'm not made for the military.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that they would draft, and on day one, they're going to go, we've made a terrible mistake. Actually, so weird. Your records came back, and you can go home.
Yeah.
Actually, you're going to do us more harm than good in the military.
Yeah.
Just sit this one out, cowboy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, all right. Yeah, that was what a terrible idea. But that's so funny. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of bio classes, so if by brainwashing she means evolution and science and like how to read an article that you find online and understand who wrote it and who funded it and what the difference between a peer-reviewed article is and like, I don't know, a fake news article from Fox News or something, then yeah, I'd be down. But yeah, I don't know, crazy. That entire prospect is nuts. It's literally just like kids, young adults living on a campus taking a huge variety of classes. Are some of those classes going to give you compassion towards people who are different from you? Yeah. Probably. Is that liberal indoctrination? Not really. No. Compassion is a good thing. Understanding people who are different from you is a good thing. That's not what I was talking about anyway. But I just remember talking about, back to the shark and the that kind of stuff, and evolution and stuff. That stuff's crazy. That stuff is wild. Did you ever hear about that one type of, I forget if it's a butterfly or a moth, but they were like white, and then the Industrial Revolution happened. There's like soot and smoke in the air and stuff like that, right? And it's like coloring the trees black with soot because there's just so much like pollution, essentially, because it's the Industrial Revolution. And white butterflies or moths, again, I forget, we're getting picked out easy because they stand out so much. You have a black tree and a white fucking moth, it's going to get picked off easy. But then a couple of them evolved to be a darker color, and natural selection made it so that that was incredibly favorable. So therefore, evolution starts to call for it, and it becomes a more favorable trait. And that's why that particular species pretty much changed colors.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's incredible stuff like that. Or like Darwin's finches, and how the different finches that lived on different islands in the Galapagos, and how that gave them completely different beak sizes and thicknesses, and depending on what type of food they were going after, if they were going after small nuts, if they're big nuts, going after bugs or berries or different things, would all change the size of their beaks. And because they were so isolated, they were able to evolve easily.
Someone I work with just went to the Galapagos Islands.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Isn't that insane?
That'd be really cool.
His name is David, and he plays in a band, and he tells me like twice a week. I walk in, and he goes, "Hi, Raven. Did you know that I'm in a band?" And I'm like...
Is it like a joke now?
I did, David. No. I mean, it's a joke amongst me and everyone else.
David's not in on it, though? Wow, poor David.
But he came to the pharmacy to get something, and he was like, "Yeah, these are because I'm going on vacation. We're going to the Galapagos Islands." And I was like, "That's crazy."
That is wild.
Yeah. But good for you, David.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine going to the Galapagos, man. Wild.
In my head, they're just like
like jungles?
Rocks and jungle in the middle of like the sea, and there's no places to stay.
Yeah, in my brain, that is also true.
I wonder if it's like you stay on the coast of someplace, take a boat out to the Galapagos Islands, visit, then go back.
Oh, I don't think so. I think they have like full civilizations.
Stay on the Galapagos Islands?
Civilizations there. Yeah.
Like the Incas?
No, not like Incas. No. What?
That's what comes to mind when you say civilization.
I know. Okay. Fair. I know that the word civilization makes you think of ancient civilizations, but usually it's like preceded by the word ancient. I'm not talking about ancient civilizations or ancient aliens or anything ancient. I'm talking about they have communities and stuff like that on the island currently, because I know the Galapagos as well as like Madagascar and stuff like that, places that in our mind are like pure wilderness.
Well, Madagascar is a country.
Okay,
so I know.
Interrupt me. I'm just using it as another example. Okay. That sometimes in our mind, because we're sheltered and we don't know any better, places like Madagascar and the Galapagos and other places as well, in our brains we're like, that's straight up rainforest and jungle and natural land.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, that's actually not the case. Like you said, Madagascar is fully a country.
Yeah.
And the Galapagos also has like communities and buildings and stuff, you know, like it's not 100% jungle. I know that they have issues, same as a lot of those kind of places, with like resource management and like giant companies coming in and logging and deforestation and all kinds of shit like that. It's fucking terrible.
Also, fun fact, it is off the coast of Ecuador.
The Galapagos?
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, didn't know that. So I just Googled images of the Galapagos.
There you go. Olive, you gotta sit down. You little rascal.
She won't, but we can try.
Won't. It's gonna be another hour of this, gang.
Yeah.
Of us talking to Olive, so just bear with us, our third guest.
So, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
So starting off with steel type.
Mm-hmm.
Now, steel is an interesting type. It's one of the oldest new types. Because I think it was like steel and then dark were like the two newest types. like the first new types to be introduced. Another interesting thing that I've noticed is when I was looking at Josh's Pokemon cards, it's just so interesting to me how Pokemon cards were like, hey, you know how in the game this Pokemon is these types? Not up in here. Not up in card territory.
Oh.
In card territory, we make Pokemon whatever fucking type I want. If you want a Dark Weezing, you got one.
Oh.
And it all just depends on, like, the card. It's so interesting. They do that all the time.
Interesting.
Especially because, like, they'll take Pokemon who have never been, like, this type, but maybe they learn moves like that. Like, trying to think of, like, a really good example. Like, Butterfree technically is never a psychic type. But Butterfree can learn Psybeam.
Okay.
You could find a psychic Butterfree in the cards.
Pokemon card?
Yeah, it's interesting.
That is interesting.
They also, I mean, they don't really do double typing. You're
in
just
the cards?
one type. Yeah.
Okay.
You're just one type. And then it's also a little confusing because, like, there's no ice.
In the cards?
There's no ice.
Wow.
Because the way you play the card game is you have to have the energy cards.
Okay.
And if I'm playing a Pikachu, maybe it's got 2 moves. It's got Thundershock and Thunderbolt. And next to those, it'll have a little symbol. Usually it's a symbol of whatever type that thing is. But sometimes it's like a little weird silver, like, little star. And that means normal type. But it also means, like, you can use any energy card. So I throw down my Pikachu. My Pikachu is out in battle. I look at the rest of my cards. I throw down a Psychic Energy card. Now I can use Thunderbolt because next to Thunderbolt it has the normal type, which means any energy. Now I can use Thunderbolt and make attacks. In order to use Thunderbolt, I have to add in like 2 extra Electric Energy cards, and now I can use Thunderbolt. So it's all very confusing and silly, but like I guess they just didn't want to add too many types to the cards because then you have to have like in your deck, you have to have a million different energy types unless you want your deck to be like all ice or all this.
Okay.
It's confusing because your deck can only be so many cards. Obviously, you're trying to help the percentages of like how likely is it for me to pull this card. And then you have to work with the type of Pokemon you have. So like in a Pokemon card deck, you would never have like all 20 types or whatever. Because it just wouldn't make sense. Because then, like, you're going to have, I have a dragon type, but I don't have a dragon energy card. Which they don't even have dragon types in the card games. But, like...
So do they not have a Pokemon card for every Pokemon?
No, they do. For sure.
They just change the types? Okay.
Yeah, so, like, Dragonite could be normal. Dragonite could be something else, like random. Who knows?
So you have, like, Snorunt or Obama Snow.
Yeah, they'll probably be grass.
Interesting.
Because Obama Snow is both grass and ice, but...
Sure.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Well, fascinating.
But yeah, Steel type. Pretty crazy. I have never been a huge fan of Steel type.
Yeah.
Just recently have started to get into it because of very specific Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent. I don't feel anything
We'll
spectacular towards them, but...
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. But yeah, let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Would you like to start? Would you like me to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. My 5th Steel Pokemon is a Pokemon that is a member of the Swords of Justice.
What the fuck?
And is its presumed leader.
You are doing like a totally different thing, dude. Like whatever the fuck you're doing is totally different. You're like looking up different animes, I swear. One of these days you're going to be like, Agumon. And I'm going to be like, that's a Digimon. And you're like, it's covered in steel. So I don't want to hear it. War Greymon.
This Pokemon is Cobalion. Cobalion?
You don't even know.
Cobalion.
Spell it for me.
Cobalion. The Iron Will Pokemon.
Jesus Christ.
It is steel and fighting, and it's a legendary Pokemon.
Oh, these are the idiots that you can catch.
The idiots?
In the expansion pack.
It is covered in aqua blue fur and has jagged
This one's
yellow
okay.
horns
Yeah, this one's
that are in the shape of thunderbolts.
a good design. The other ones are shit, and you have to agree.
It has a composed demeanor, but it dislikes humans. Once, it fought against people to protect Pokemon. Its glare can make even an unruly Pokemon obey it. Cobalion, I don't know how to pronounce that at all, is said to have the air of a leader since its birth. It's capable of calming even the most vicious of foes.
Wow.
In Generation 5, V is 5, right?
V is 5 for Roman numerals, yeah.
In Generation 5, Sacred Sword was its signature move. Yeah, it can speak through telepathy, and it just looks really badass. I would love it to be my Pokemon partner. It is paired up with Terrakion, Viserion, and Keldeo.
Yeah.
Now I have to look at these ones.
They're terrible.
Okay, Terrakion is the cavern Pokemon.
Yeah.
It just looks like it's made of...
Remember in the
dirt.
expansion pack for Sword and Shield where you had to find those little footprints?
Oh, yes, this one, Virizion, the grassland Pokemon, is the one that I was trying to hunt and couldn't. It was very hard to catch.
That's when the game started to lost me because it was like that part of the game where like you only have one Master Ball. There's no way to get other Master Balls. Unless you do the blind trading where people give their Pokemon a nickname of a website and then they have it hold on to a Master Ball. So then I ended up having a shit ton of Master Balls, which was actually great because then I could just get rid of this Pokemon that is named after a website. Or sometimes I would just keep them because they were shiny and I was like, whatever, I'll just keep it.
Yeah.
But that's the part of the game where it was like you would throw...
Impossible to catch
Yeah,
anything.
it would have 1 health left. You would throw a million Ultra Balls and just nothing would happen, and it was just like, this isn't even fun anymore.
Yeah, because you would try 100 times, you'd lose all your Ultra Balls, and you'd never caught it.
Not even, and like, it's not even like losing your Ultra Balls is like that big of a deal because making money is such a joke in that game.
Yeah.
But like,
but it's still
annoying. It was just time consuming, and you're just sitting there going like, throw a Pokeball, throw.
Yeah, eventually like you forget it.
Like, yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You could put up all the greatest Pokemon against it, where that type wise were all perfect, but then it was like, oh, fuck, it healed itself. But now if I do one attack, it's dead.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't even know what to do here.
Yeah.
I just hated that.
I know. I feel that. But yeah, oh no.
Oh, no.
This podcast should be called the Hessy Maven Podcast, featuring Posey.
Two old bitches.
Smoliv.
Ugh. Olive or JoJo. Oh, here it is.
Pause for the barking.
The barking is happening around 20
Josie! Stop! Josie!
Josie, enough. Sorry, gang. I had to break out my deep voice. I never like to use it, but sometimes I have to. When I gotta get these dogs in shape.
So yeah, the Iron Will Pokemon Cobalion is my number 5.
Christ. What a pick.
Thank you.
What a pick, Ray. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Well. Insane. All right. My number 5 is Steelix.
Okay. A classic.
We gave a lot of love to Onyx, and it just made me realize that like Steelix is pretty cool too.
Steelix is pretty cool. My one complaint with Steelix is that its face is so smushed. It's like compressed. And he looks like this.
His face does look flatter.
Yeah. And he has like a huge overbite.
Underbite.
Underbite is what I meant to say.
He has a very large underbite.
Yeah.
Although it looks like his teeth are good. It's just like he has that Cro-Magnon chin, that fucking protruding chin that we all love. But yeah, no, I'm just a big fan. He's just fucking gigantic and cool. And when you told me about the part in the Pokemon show with Brock and everything, like when he returns, this like random Steelix is really nice to him, and then he finds out that his Onix evolved. I was like, Hell yeah, dog. You're making the list.
Yeah, Steelix is awesome.
Yeah, I like Steelix a lot.
It'd be a badass Pokemon partner.
That's what I mean. It'd be sick to have a Steelix. It'd be so fucking cool. Not to mention, Steelix can learn a couple of like really interesting moves and stuff like that. Like my Steelix had the move Thunder Fang. It was like not an especially powerful move, but it's just cool to have like a random move like that. It also has the move. A couple of Steel Pokemon can learn it. As well as like electric types and stuff, but it's called Magnet Rise or something like that.
Okay.
And it makes it so your Pokemon levitates.
Oh, okay.
So that ground moves can't hit them the way that they can't hit like flying types. I thought that was really cool. It's one of those moves that I usually get rid of because better moves come along, but it's very useful in certain aspects. Like obviously it's pretty situational.
Okay.
But man, when it comes up,
yeah.
You're gonna wish you had it. But yeah, I just think Steelix is cool. I just think it looks
Steelix
big
is cool.
and powerful. And
there's something to be said about huge Pokemon.
That's exactly it. And it's called the Iron Snake Pokemon, which just sounds cool.
Yeah.
It does have a Mega Evolution, which is kind of crazy. It looks pretty.
All the Mega Evolutions are crazy.
Intense. Yeah. But yeah, it's 34 feet long.
Yeah, wild.
That is a big boy. And
you'd be able to walk.
Sorry. Mega Steelix is 34 feet. Just a normie Steelix is only 30 feet. But then
you would still be able
double in size. Even though it's only 4 feet longer.
Yeah.
Its weight increases by 100%. It goes from 880 pounds to 1,630 pounds.
Wow.
It's insane.
Either way, you would be able to walk down a dark alley alone.
Oh, I'd feel very safe.
Yeah.
I'd feel very safe.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy because then they can take out like the most basic, whatever Steel's weak to, and be like, actually, this isn't a problem.
Yeah.
I have a fire type. I have a Chimchar.
Yeah.
Ember.
Yep.
And Steelix would be like, no.
Yeah.
But.
Very good.
Yep. My number 5 Steel type is Steelix.
A classic.
I think he was the first one too.
The first Steel type?
Yeah.
I believe it.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think Gen 2 had a bunch also.
Yeah.
But I remember Steelix being the first one that was like introduced. But yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I love him.
Very good. My 4th pick is Magearna.
Jesus Christ. Spell it for me.
Magearna. The artificial Pokemon. It's a dual-type Steel Fairy mythical Pokemon introduced in Generation 7.
What is this?
It's so cute.
I've actually seen this before in the show.
She's got big hips and like these giant, what looks like fruit slices coming out of the top of her head.
Yeah.
And little pointy feet and little pointy hands. She looks like a little robot.
She does. She looks like a little tiny maid robot.
Yeah, a little tiny maid robot. This says Bulbapedia describes her as a metallic bipedal Pokemon made up primarily of spheres.
Yeah, I saw her in the Pokemon Journeys, one of them.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see her in the show. Magearna was created by a scientist 500 years ago. The sphere in this Pokemon's chest is known as the Soul Heart, and the scientist created it by collecting life energy from other Pokemon. The Soul Heart is the true body of Magearna.
Make a new Pokemon. You gotta kill a Pokemon, make a new Pokemon.
Due to its ability to feel others' pain, it will try as hard as it can to save injured Pokemon. It can perceive the emotions, thoughts, or feelings of other Pokemon as well. Whenever it is sleeping, or sometimes when it is sad, Magearna can take on the appearance of a Pokeball.
That's cute.
Really cute. Back when it was invented, Magearna's body was primarily painted gold, though a lighter shade than the highlights and rims that adorns its body.
Wow.
Yeah. The ears and the top half of its lower body were painted red, matching the coloration of an ordinary Pokeball.
Yeah.
The vivid coloring is a sign that it was a present to royalty. The princess of the land was very pleased with it. So she must have been like, give me a fucking Pokemon now. And they couldn't catch one. So the scientist was like,
Gonna catch one.
let me just make one.
That
And this is what they came up with, and it's so stinking cute.
is insane. It's weird to me that they made Pokemon.
It's really weird.
They did that in Gen 1
Yeah.
with Porygon.
Yeah.
What is the deal?
Yeah.
Like, you have all these amazing Pokemon out there.
Mm-hmm.
Keep discovering, even in the lore of the show, we keep discovering new and new Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out that not only are there all these new kinds that are evolving, that are region specific and all this stuff.
Yeah.
We also find out that they're ancient.
Mm-hmm.
Not only find out that they're ancient in our world, but they also are. There's some from other worlds and dimensions and stuff. And still, people are like, "Yeah, but I want a different one. I'm gonna make one."
The other day I was watching an
Like,
episode.
the hubris of humans is staggering.
The other day I was watching an episode, and they were in a power plant.
Yeah.
And they were locked in, and somehow I forget, and they're trying to get out, and Team Rocket's locked in there with them, of course.
Yeah.
And Team Rocket rounds a corner, and they're trying to get out, and the security guard Pokemon runs after them because there's security guard Pokemon that work at this power plant. And it was Kabutops.
Oh yeah.
And I was furious because in every other episode, Kabutops is this ancient fossil Pokemon that only lives in the depths of the ground.
Yeah.
And no one can have a Kabutops because it's ancient, so it just lives in the ground and never comes out. And then it's just the security guard at the fucking power plant. I was like, sorry.
Yeah, the plot isn't plotting.
The plot isn't plotting. But yeah, so Magearna, Magearna.
Maybe.
I could be totally wrong because I always thought always thought it was Miss Magus, like a mage, like a wizard.
Yeah.
But in the show, it's Miss Magius,
Sounds stupid.
which is stupid. So it could be totally different. But it looks like Magearna, and I love her. She's my number 4.
She's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, off the heels of that, my number 4 is Tinkaton.
Okay.
I
Very
like
cute.
Tinkaton. I sort of wanted to get one in the first playthrough of Scarlet and Violet, but ended up not getting one because I went the direction, I went essentially the wrong direction. So by the time I was running into little tiny baby Tinkatons, I was so far past them level wise that it was just a hassle to catch one and level it up.
Yeah.
And at this point of Pokemon, there's plenty of other Steel and Fairy types because it is a dual type. Steel is one of the few types that's really good against Fairies specifically. And obviously, at most, you have to take down the Fairy. What's it called? That camp, or whatever. But I mean, all of those are really easy to take down. The game overall was incredibly easy. Maybe a downside. I never felt like I had a struggle in that entire game. I thought everything was really easy.
In Scarlet?
Scarlet and Violet, yeah. I think the only thing I ever had to do twice was the very final battle in the Area Zero crater thing. The very final battle I had to do twice. Or did I even? Actually, I don't even know if I did. Yeah, I don't remember. But regardless. Tinkaton. I just think she's really cute.
Really cute.
She has a fun 3-stage evolution starting from Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, Tinkaton.
Cute every step of the way.
Cute every step of the way. Tinkatink looks like a absolute fucking little baby with a little tiny top ponytail and bright pink skin, and is holding a little what looks like a mace or like a club or something like that. And then it gets bigger, and she has a ponytail, and she gets a little bit bigger, and then her weapon gets bigger. This is one of those Pokemon. Last Pokemon episode, we talked about Hypno and Alakazam and evolving with items. This is one of those where her item is super important or whatever.
Yeah. It's part of the vibe.
Yeah. It's just really cute and everything.
Really cute.
But yeah, carries around I'm looking at Tinkatuff right now. Tinkatuff carries a large gray, crude yet sturdy hammer with loose metal plates for the hammer head and what appears to be the old hammer Tinkatuff had as a Tinkatink on top of the shaft. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. But anyway. Yeah, it collects its metal to make the hammers from Pawniard and Bisharp.
2 other Pokemon?
It's like stage 1 and stage 2 of a certain type, which it preys on.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Also, they'll slam their hammers together to test their strength.
Wow.
And also, it's a female-only gender, or it's like only girls.
I live for that.
The entire species.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fun. I mean, you can tell that like each hammer, like the one that it starts at with the Tinkatink, and then each hammer like utilizes the predecessor's hammer as part of the next hammer.
Oh, okay.
Like, they're just building on top of it.
Yeah.
You can like see the design of each stage of the hammer. Like they're just building onto the hammer.
Okay.
Which I guess is supposed to explain like them collecting more and more metal to build up their hammer and make it better and better. Because by the time you're Tinkaton, the hammer is gigantic.
Yeah.
It's like 5 times the size of her body.
It's hilarious.
She's got like sort of pigtails, sort of like just very fun hair looking vibes. And yeah, it just looks fun.
Cute.
Is really fun. The only Pokemon capable of learning the move Gigaton Hammer.
Oh.
Yeah. It's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Tinkaton is intelligent, has a reckless personality. It swings its hammer at rocks to send them into the sky, aiming to hit flying Corviknight. This Pokemon will also steal anything that it wants and take it back to its dwelling.
It's hilarious.
It sometimes uses its hammer like a bed to sleep on.
It's like a gremlin.
It is very much like a little cute gremlin.
Yeah.
Like one of those really mischievous little fairies.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Like a little goblin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I just think that she was really cute. I thought the typing of a fairy and steel is pretty unique and fun. Yeah, and I always just wanted one because
it's cute.
On my first playthrough I didn't really get one, so I did it on the second one. And she's a badass.
I love it.
I forgot what I named her. Maybe Rosie after Rosie the Riveter or something. Kind of cliche, kind of on the nose, but fun.
Yeah, still cute.
Still cute.
Very good.
That's my number 4.
My number 3 is Tinkatink.
Ah.
The baby of
Crazy.
the evolution set. She is so cute. According to her Bulbapedia article, her little thing is supposed to resemble a rattle. Her thing that she holds. It's supposed to resemble a baby's rattle.
Okay.
Yeah, this says Tinkatink uses the hammer thing to protect itself. However, the hammer is often stolen and eaten by Pokemon with a metal diet.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, you pretty much said it all, though. But she's, like, super cute. I love that she's pink. I love that she's a baby. I love all the Pokemon that look like babies. Even though in the show, it exhausts me that all Ash ever has is baby Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right now, I will say, is a good part of this season, even though the season is about to end. Because he has Infernape. And he has
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I cannot think of his
not
name.
Staravia, the next one.
Staraptor?
Staraptor. So he's got 2 final evolutions. He's got
the grass type?
Yeah, Torterra.
Torterra?
He has Torterra too. So he's got some adult Pokemon right now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Which is how you kind of know that it's like towards the end of the season, and he's gonna.
Yes.
All of them
all.
They're. Well, they all have to go on their own missions.
Yes.
Or something. They have to like part ways, and it'll be a sad episode.
Yeah.
Or
he'll leave them.
The episode will be called like Infernoob's Goodbye.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Why?
But you told me you saw episodes where he has Infernape, so I think he
goes
holds
back
on to Infernape.
No, he doesn't.
Oh.
He gets rid of Infernape for a long time, and then in one episode, he has a different like fighting type Pokemon, and that fighting type needs to like break through the glass ceiling of his training.
Okay.
So he's like, let's go find Infernape. And that's the episode that Infernape comes back.
Oh, okay.
And then the Infernape might be around for a little bit because he also taught Gengar Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, that's the episode I was referring to that you told me you saw.
Because it's all confusing. They definitely make some serious, like there's a lot of, in the Pokemon Journeys, the stuff that's available on Netflix, they have a lot of references to the older episodes and stuff. Like a character will come in like May or something like that, and right off the bat he'll be like, "Oh May, how's it been?" and like, "How's your Piplup?" and like they just know each other. It's not Piplup, but you know what I mean. They just know each other. But then also, I thought you told me that he gets not a Lucario.
Oh, I thought that he did because in the like opening credits where they play the theme song.
Wow, yeah.
In a battle he's in, it looks like the Lucario is on his side. So I was like, oh my god, Ash gets a Lucario.
Okay.
But then
because he gets one
he's fighting the Lucario.
Journeys. Okay.
So.
He gets one in Journeys.
Oh, okay.
He gets the little whatever it's called, and then it evolves into a Lucario.
Yeah, he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Yet anyway, I suppose.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, so my number 3 was Tinkatink.
Tinkatink.
The little pink baby with a steel rattle.
All right. My number 3 for steel is and I don't know how to pronounce this G. I don't know if it's a G sound or a J sound.
Okay.
I'm going to go J. Aegislash.
Oh.
The sword and shield
kind
of Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one of those Pokemon that kind of grew on me. I was like, this is fucking dumb. I was like, what do you mean? It's just a sword. It's just a floating sword, and you just made it a Pokemon. Yeah. And it was like, this is so dumb. I was so annoyed. It starts off as Hone Edge, which I guess you're like honing the edge of a sword.
Okay.
Hone Edge. And that's just a sword that has like a single eyeball and like a little swishy thing.
Right.
And then it goes into Doublade.
Okay.
Like double the blade. Now it's 2 swords that are crossing each other. Mm-hmm. Each of them has an eyeball, and now it has 2 eyeballs. And then it finally evolves into Aegislash, where it has 2 arms that like kind of stick out from the sword. Like picture the sword being like handle at the top, blade at the bottom. Mm-hmm. It has 2 arms, and those arms can hold on to a shield. And then it has the ability to bounce between shield form and blade form.
Okay.
Depending on the moves that it's using. But, I mean, the only reason I really like it is just because, like, I think it's really interesting and, like, fun. And I had one in the game. And I feel like it's the kind of Pokemon that you have to have, like, high IQ to use this Pokemon effectively. Like, you have to really know Pokemon. Because, you know how it's easy to just make it so it's like all of your Pokemon just know all attack moves? And it's just like, that's just what it is. And you're like, why bother using Growl when I can just attack you and do more damage? You know what I mean? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Sometimes it feels that way for, like, status moves. Well, Aegislash learns a move that I, for the life of me, cannot remember right now, where it swaps its defense and attack.
Okay.
And then you combine that with the ability of, like, you can boost your defense a ton of times. So you can use a move called King's Shield, and it boosts your attack, it boosts your defense and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you can stay in shield mode and be super defensive. And then all of a sudden you have it so that those numbers, so your attack is very small, defense is very big, and you switch them.
Okay.
So now your attack is huge, but you have, like, no defense. But then you get an attack or two in and you fucking crush them. But yeah, it was just fun using them, just being, like, a little more strategic and stuff like that. I kind of liked being forced to be a little smarter about it and not just, like, taking the easy way out and being like, attack. Just to make things interesting. Because, you know, you play enough Pokemon, eventually it gets old.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing over and over again. But that, you know, switches it up a little bit. Plus, it was fun. I think Leon has one, and that was always like, oh, cool. Just getting to see, it's the same with everything else. Like, when you get to see it in the show or see it in action, you're like, oh, shit, okay. Or just like, yeah, somebody having it was
My
like,
next Pokemon is a Pokemon that I didn't love until I saw it in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It's called the Royal Sword Pokemon. I kind of like the color scheme. It's like gold, maybe a little bit of silver, black, but like almost like a matte black, or maybe like a charcoal, and then this like light purple color, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I'm just into it. And the other thing that's fun about it is that it's a ghost type.
Yeah.
It's Steel and
Ghost.
Ghost.
Steel and Ghost is pretty cool.
So, yeah, I was just into it. I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, that was it. It was just like one of those weird Pokemon. It's one of the very few Pokemon that use a Dusk Stone to evolve. The final evolution is done by a Dusk Stone.
I feel like this is the Pokemon that all of the people who have the really tall hats that stand outside Buckingham Palace would have.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I think that they would all have one of these.
The Queen, I want to call them Queen's Guard.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's true because...
They were bright red. They have the tall hats.
I know exactly what you're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah. No, we're on the same page. I'm just trying to think about what their title is without looking it up.
I don't know.
Especially because, like, now it's technically a king, right? It's not a queen anymore. So it would be King's Guard.
Yeah.
I honestly hate that. That makes me hate it even more. I already think the monarchy is a dumb fucking idea. And, like, I'm siding with the people who are, like, anti-coronation and anti-monarchy in England. You know, the people who, like, were like, this is dumb. Because it's one thing if it's just, like, this silly little figurehead and it's just become, like, a touristy kind of funny little thing. But the amount of, like, taxpayer money that goes into the royal family's, like, pockets is astronomical. Not to mention the amount of, like, properties that they own. Like, they make so much money just by being a person, like, being who they are. They are, like, it's weird. It's just very weird how much taxpayer money goes to them.
Yeah.
And, like that coronation was, like, paid for by taxpayers largely. And it's like, that's dumb. That's so dumb.
Yeah, I hear.
And now that it's a king, it's like double dumb. Like, now I hate it even more.
Yeah.
For some reason, and this is because, on average, I mean, if you throw a dart in the dark, on average, men suck.
Yeah.
So,
and King Charles sucks
for sure.
Yeah.
He looks terrible.
Yeah, he's 1,000 years old. He'll die soon. I do hear what you're saying, and I agree with almost everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that the British royal family is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Is it really?
I'm obsessed with them. I love learning about them.
That's so
I love
funny.
watching them. I love knowing what they're doing.
Really?
I love fun facts. I love princesses and duchesses and...
Did you watch any of the Oprah Winfrey interview with Meghan and Harry?
No. I heard... I'm interested in them, and I think every reason he left his position is valid.
Right.
But I don't really care. I don't really care about hearing him talk.
You couldn't insult me enough to not be a princess. Are you kidding me?
I feel like... Yeah.
Yeah. Some racism? Bring it on. I'll take it if it means being a princess.
I'm sorry, like...
A duchess?
I'm
it.
wholly liberal, and I believe that institutions like that are inherently racist, and change needs to happen, and I am on board.
Right. But
like, if Prince Harry came into my life and was like, we're getting married and you're going to be a princess, my grandma will probably hate you because you're half black. I would be like, whatever.
Yeah.
She'll die soon.
I'll take that.
Yeah, like.
I know. Easier
Just
said
saying.
than done. I can't imagine being part of that royal family, though, because we don't know what goes around.
I don't. You're right. I don't know what goes. I don't know what they have to do. I don't know what their daily responsibilities are.
They seem like I don't know. There's a part of me that's going like full Da Vinci Code in my brain where I'm like, yo, they're hiring assassins, dude. Like the whole Princess Di thing was a setup.
Oh God, it makes me so sad.
Oh, I just feel like they're probably like real. I don't know, man. Their connections.
Backdoor shadiness is next level. They're next level shady.
So I can't imagine. Like I would be really afraid, actually. Like not even just like it's not just like 100% just like insults where you're like, okay, these are just like old racist white people. Like I'll just eat this racism so that I can be a princess.
But also like how intriguing is that? You're living in like a documentary where you're like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. What do? We hire an assassin?
I don't want to be part of the documentary.
I don't know. I'm just saying it'd be an interesting life.
Shit is crazy. Oh
okay.
My gosh, so
Are you
crazy.
ready for my next one? My number 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Mawile.
Okay. I saw this one coming up.
The Deceiver Pokemon. It's Steel Fairy type. Mawile does not evolve. Oh my goodness.
For the record, they are referred to, or at least were referred to, as Queen's Guard.
Ah, okay, great.
Yeah. But they're also sometimes just referred to as guardsmen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever seen the videos of them like running over people like while they're walking or marching?
No.
Sometimes they'll be like marching, you know, like they're going from one. It's just like two of them. They're going from one place to another.
Yeah. And
like a little kid tourist will just kind of get in the way and be like, "Oh my god!" And they'll just straight up like plow through them, dude. It's nuts. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's crazy.
I believe it. Nuts. Nothing can stop them.
They don't even stop to look
because
they like forth. Can't. Yeah, they're like duty is so intense. Yeah. Duty.
This is our duty. We must go forth.
God, it's so funny though.
Are you ready for me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mawile.
Mawile does not evolve, but it can mega evolve into what I think is very badass, and I'm going to show you the photo.
Whoa.
Yeah,
it's like a full demon.
It is like a full demon. It also reminds me of the plant from that very famous play where it like eats.
Audrey 2 is the name of the plant. You're talking about Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
As soon as I was saying Audrey 2, I was like, you're going to think that's the name of the play.
I was.
But it's not. It's the name of the girl. Or the plant, rather.
Yes, that's what Mega Mawile looks like.
So funny.
But
Feed me, Seymour.
Mawile is typically found in caves. It uses its non-threatening appearance to make foes underestimate it, then attacks with its giant jaws, sometimes swallowing its prey whole. Damn. When engaged in battle, Mawile usually has its back turned to the enemy to make better use of its jaws. So it's got like this
always thought that was interesting.
Front face.
Yeah.
And like these bangs. And it's really cute. It looks like it's like wearing a dress, and it's small and low to the ground. And then its ponytail, it's got like an Ariana Grande ponytail, but the ponytail is its massive jaws that have like sharp teeth, and it's what it uses to attack.
Like Ariana Grande.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't love Mawile when it was introduced to me in the game, but then I saw it in the show, and it was hilarious. It was owned by this woman that they run into, and it fell in love with Brock's what's the pre-evolution to Ludicolo?
Oh God. Hold on.
Please hold.
Because it's something. Hold on.
Lombre.
Oh fuck.
Sorry. Lombre. It falls in love with Brock's Lombre.
I never would have got Lombre. To
and
be fair.
Brock's Lombre wants nothing to do with her.
Oh,
it's
no.
like, get away from me. I don't
That's
like
so
you.
sad.
And then there's like another Pokemon that loves Mawile, and Mawile's like, I want nothing to do with you. I only want Lombre.
Oh man.
So there's like this love triangle going on.
Yeah.
And then at the end, and it's so cute, and Mawile is just like so in love. And at the end of the episode, Lombre evolves into Ludicolo, and falls in love with Mawile.
Sees the error of his ways.
Ludicolo's like,
matures.
oh my god, Mawile, I love you. And
Mawile's
like,
now you're weird.
Now you're weird.
Yeah.
No. And then Mawile turns around and sees a Psyduck like walking by and falls in love with the Psyduck and then runs away. And then they all make a joke that it's the Pokemon version of Brock. Because Brock loves every woman. So Mawile just runs around and falls in love with like every other Pokemon.
That's really funny.
Yeah. And I thought it was so funny. I like when they add random personalities like that to Pokemon. I think it's like hilarious. But yeah, I love her. I think she's so cute. I think it's such an interesting Pokemon design.
It is really interesting.
To have like the face, but then the jaws, like all the way back.
I wonder if that's like based on anything. Like, is there any like piece of folklore or something?
Yeah, I really don't know, but I do love it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
It's based on a Furukuchi-Ona. Which is a thing that has a second mouth.
Scary.
Yeah, it's referred to sometimes as a two-mouthed woman. It's a type of yokai or Japanese monster. They have a normal mouth on their face, and then a second one on the back of their head beneath the hair. There, the woman's skull splits apart, forming lips, teeth, and a tongue, creating an entirely functional second mouth. Okay,
this is horror. It's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah,
that's
so it's
crazy.
Based on Japanese folklore.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Fucking cool.
That's amazing. But yeah, that's my number 2.
I love that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. My number 2 is just a little guy.
Okay.
Just a little guy. Gotta be honest, when I first saw this one, I was mad at the design because it really started... It was like I took such a long break from Pokemon.
Okay.
Just because, I was like, I'm not necessarily like keeping up to date with like the newest Game Boys. You know what I mean? It was like, because for a time it was all Game Boy.
Okay.
And it was just like, well, I don't want to buy a fucking Game Boy just to play Pokemon.
Okay.
But then finally they started coming out for the Switch, and it was like game changer because I already have the Switch, right?
Right.
But that means that there was a long period of time where I didn't play any Pokemon games, and therefore wasn't up to date on any of the updated Pokemon or new generations. I knew nothing.
Okay.
The only reason now I barely know I'm decent with Pokemon knowledge outside of Gen 1 is because I've played Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, and there's so many of the old Pokemon that come through. But this little guy is super adorable, love him so much now, but at the time I was like, man, Pokemon designers are running out of fucking ideas.
Uh-oh.
And the Pokemon in question for my number 2 Steel type is Klefki.
Ah, it is a little guy.
It's just a little guy.
Okay.
And I like him. And he's just a little guy. I like him. And he's cute.
Keys.
It looks like a ring of keys.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
It's so funny.
It's Steel and Fairy type. It just looks like... It's called the Key Ring Pokemon. Its body sort of looks like keys. It has like a mouth and or nose or whatever that is a keyhole, and then 2 just black holes for eyes. And then they're like real keys on the thing. Like it's apparently kind of a little bit of a prankster Pokemon.
It really makes you wonder who thought of that.
It really does, where they were just like, okay, we got to think of some steel types or something, and they were like, what's steel? What's metal? What's in my room? What are in my pockets? And they were like, keys. Okay, how do we make a key-based Pokemon? Mm-hmm. And then they just did it.
Yeah.
It was just fucking crazy to me. Yeah, absolutely fucking insane.
But it is cute.
Klefki are known to be very even-tempered. In the past, Klefki inhabited mines. I don't know, it feeds on metal ions by inserting its key-like horn into chinks in metal. It likes to collect keys, particularly master keys, and will sneak into people's homes to steal them.
Wow.
Yeah. Insane. It rattles them to threaten predators. Yeah. And some experts say that its key-like appearance is the result of an adaptation to suit its habitat or its habit of collecting keys.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a Niffler.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute.
But yeah, I just thought they're fucking cute and adorable.
It is cute
and
and
that's
adorable.
really the vibe there. Is just once I started playing a Pokemon game where Klefki was a thing, and being able to see it like in the wild, like the newer Pokemon games do, and you could just see one floating around, and it was like, oh, that's kind of cute.
I do love that, by the way.
I'll catch one.
Being able to see the Pokemon when you're
It's
walking
huge.
around. It's
huge.
So huge because I'm playing Ultra Moon right now, but I keep putting it down because I go to a new area and then I just run into the same Pokemon over and over and over again.
Dude, that
and then it tells you what
sucks.
percentage of the Pokedex you've finished. And like, I'll go through. I have gone through what I thought was like the entire island like twice, and I'm at like 16% of the Pokedex.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are the other Pokemon?
I know.
Like, so
it
is huge to be able to see
It is
them.
frustrating because the new games do that too, where there's percentages, but it is different when you can see them.
Yeah.
And it depends on the game too, because obviously, like in Sword and Shield, you could see them, but also you still had to go into the grass to get ones that you don't see.
Yeah.
Whereas the new one,
You see them all.
you see all of them.
Yeah.
Which obviously helps a little bit because you can be really specific about what you're catching and what you're looking for and stuff like that. Because I remember in Sword and Shield, every time I would click on the Pokedex, you know how it would tell you that there was like 3 or 4 Pokemon that were like in the area that you needed that weren't in your Pokedex? Yeah, I would have that, and it would be the same fucking one every time. It would be a Cherubi, like that, just that little cherry Pokemon. I spent days going through tall grass,
Looking for it.
Never came across a single one.
That's what happened to me with Eevee.
And it was
The
just
map would tell
like,
me
this
Eevee
is
was there.
annoying.
Yeah, and then I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I just got really sick of it, and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch this dumbass fucking Pokemon I don't even care about. I was getting so mad. I was like, every time I find its evolved form, I'm going to kill it dead for no reason, just because I'm mad. I'm going to throw out my strongest fire types. Hey, Pokegens.com, a.k.a. Charizard. My black Charizard. And I'm going to fucking... I'm going to hyper evolve or whatever the fuck it was called. Gigantamax, yeah. But I love Klefki. Klefki is just very cute, very fun.
Cute.
Simple, and straight to the point. You know?
Yeah.
It's a key Pokemon.
Yeah, good.
It's Fairy and Steel. Again, I like that typing.
It's cute.
So, yeah.
Love a Pokemon you can put in your pocket.
And it can fly, so you don't even really have to.
I mean, yeah.
And they hold onto your keys. It said also that like if like it will never like let go of a key. So like if you were like, this is my master key,
Yeah.
like you could give it to your Pokemon and then like boom, you always know where it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Crazy.
Practical.
All right. What is your... We're on number 1, right? All right. What is your number 1 steel type?
Scizor.
Oh. Did not see that coming.
I like Scizor a lot.
Interesting.
It pops up a lot in the show. I think that it is really badass. Every time they fight it, it's always like a very difficult battle for Ash. It is one of the evolved forms of Scyther, who I also love.
One of the evolved forms.
Yeah, the other is Cleavor. Cleaver?
Oh, yeah. That's like brand new-ish.
In the Hissui region.
Yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
Hissui. You know how we feel about Hissui. Get out of here. Go fly a kite, Hissui. Hissui in Florida. I hate that.
Yeah, but I love Scizor. I love Scizor's voice in the show, like just like how I love Alakazam.
Yeah.
It's very like Scizor.
Scizor.
Like, yeah. This says, while... Oh, wait, no. This is about Mega Scizor. There is a Mega Scizor, and
course
it's
there
only
is.
a little bit different than regular Scizor, so I'm not super interested.
Yeah, I think the Mega Evolution thing was a huge miss.
Well, it definitely only happened in one game, and they never did it again, right? So it was.
It's just
definitely
one
a
of
huge
those
miss.
gimmicks that they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking stupid. It's so dumb.
This says, this is interesting. Scizor's body and muscles are made of metal that is hard as steel, with pincers strong enough to crush any hard object. It will raise its pincers and wave them around to scare off predators or foes, giving it the appearance of having 3 heads.
Well,
When it identifies an enemy, Scizor will use its pincers to beat up the opponent to the point there's nothing but scraps left.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy. Scizor is incapable of flight, instead quickly flapping its wings to regulate its body temperature in order to prevent itself from becoming too hot and melting. It has tremendous power despite its slim body. Scizor is rarely found in the wild, though it can be found in grasslands. Bullet Punch is its signature move. This is interesting because in the show, Scizor definitely flies. So
I mean, it makes sense that it would. Scyther flies. Scyther is literally a flying type.
he definitely flies. Ash goes through this huge thing where he is training his for fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake.
He's training his what is that Pokemon that has like the scorpion tail and it flies and then it evolves?
Gligar?
Yeah, evolution. Gliscor.
Gliscor.
He's training his Gliscor, and his Gliscor can't fly. It can only glide on the wind.
Of course.
So this old man
Buzz
is trying
Lightyear.
to teach Ash and Gliscor how to read the wind, and his Scizor flies around and reads the wind.
Interesting.
So Scizor definitely flies.
Interesting.
In the show anyway. But Scizor is 5'11"
Wow, he's a tall boy.
and 260 pounds. So it's a pretty badass Pokemon partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. What is it? Steel Bug?
It is Bug Steel.
Bug Steel.
Yeah. Also, its translation from Japanese is Hassam,
Awesome.
which is cute.
Very
so
cute.
I love it. Scizor's my number 1.
Scissors a good one. That's a good pick.
Thank you.
My number 1, I had to go back.
Okay.
I had to go back to the days of Gen 1.
Okay.
This is a Pokemon that wasn't originally listed as a Steel type, like in the first games and such, but has since become a Dual type.
Okay.
I like it for reasons I genuinely don't know.
Okay.
I just like it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing super compelling
Okay.
in terms of a reason why it has not only made my top 5 list, but my number 1.
Okay.
A lot of it, I think, has to do with nostalgia because it's the only Gen 1 on this list. Anyway, I'll just get straight to it. Magneton.
Magneton. Oh, okay.
The second
took a second.
stage evolution of the Magnemite series.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes Magnemite, Magneton, that evolves by level. And then you can give it, I think, a Thunderstone, and it will evolve into Magnezone.
Yeah.
I did not choose Magnezone because he's a little bit newer, and I think it kind of takes away a little bit of the nostalgia for me. I like a Magnezone. I have one. I fuck with it pretty regularly. It's pretty intense. Yeah, I like its weird computer voice. I like that they say that when Magnemites get together and evolve like that and become Magneton, they start like sharing a brain. Because it becomes, it's 3 Magnemites. I'm sorry, you got something?
My boss texted me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I think one of the dogs farted.
Definitely Olive.
Great.
Yep.
That way we know it'll smell.
Yep.
But yeah, so Magnemites, the 3 of them get together and they form Magneton. They begin to share one brain when that happens, but it says very specifically, they don't get any smarter.
Aw.
I think that's really funny.
That's cute.
I also like it makes me think of the episode where we meet Grimer and Muck in the first season of Pokemon, where there's the Magnemite who's like really attracted to Pikachu.
Yeah.
Pikachu, because Pikachu has like the weird stuff with his like electrons or whatever, and like Magneton is just like, or Magnemite is just like feeling the energy vibes.
Yeah.
It's just like the negative and positively
So funny.
charges, and is like, oh my god, I'm so attracted to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're attracted to him like the way that magnets are attracted.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. But yeah, I just like him. I just think he's cool. I always felt like he was like a sleeper electric Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like when you think of electric Pokemon for Gen 1, it's easy to forget Magnemite and Magneton exist because they just kind of, I don't know, they don't have a ton
They
of
fly under the
their
radar.
personality is not having a ton of personality. Like,
Yeah.
they're very like autism spectrum of just
Yes.
like very matter of fact. I imagine them having no filter and just saying what's on their mind and stuff.
Gonna get clawed.
But I love it. I like a good Magneton. I think they're fun.
They are fun.
That's my number one.
Very
skill
good.
type.
Magneton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like their computery voice. Magnemite. Magnezone. Magneton.
I do like it. It is
It's
fun.
good.
Yeah. I don't know, something about him. Just cool. Especially, it makes me also think of Pokemon Snap, the first one. There's a really specific part where you have to like, I can't remember 100%, but there's a cave map, and you have to like, I think you have to throw apples at like a couple of Magnemite to get them to all go in one direction so that they all cluster, and then they evolve into a Magneton. It's like the only way that you can get a picture of a Magneton in the game.
Oh.
It's really cool. Like you get them to evolve.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
All right, yeah, that's my.
Nice.
Those are our steel types. Shall we move right into water?
Yes.
Water type was hard for me.
It was hard for me too.
Differently than the way that it was hard for you, though, in the sense that I could have made a list of 10. I think water was really hard for me. Thank God I used so many of my water picks in other typings.
Okay.
Kabutops out of the way. Slowbro out of the way. You know what I mean? I used a lot of water types in other types because I would venture to say, without looking it up, I'm willing to bet water is the most prevalent type.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think most Pokemon, if you broke down the percentages, share water typing compared to everything else. And I think it's just because all of your maps are going to have water in some way, shape, or form. So you always have to have water Pokemon. Like your map may not have a deserty section, so it's
or a
harder,
volcano.
or a volcano or something, but they're always going to have water.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with that amount of how prevalent water types are, the design sort of starts to go downhill at a certain point because it's just a million fish.
It's a lot of fish.
And they all start to blend, and then they do interesting things where they try their hardest to be like, but actually, this one is water and this type, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess. And some of them make sense and some of them don't, and it is what it is. And then, of course, and then you don't even have to just do fish. You can just do anything that is marine relative.
Yes.
Seals, other types of pinnipeds. You have all different kinds of cetaceans, aka whales. You have turtles, crabs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and then there are even like water birds and like
Mm-hmm.
water things that aren't
Pelicans.
necessarily part of specifically like living in the water, but living near the water. So
Yeah.
it's just like I think your possibilities are endless, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons that it's so easy to come up with water types. Which is, it made me coming up with my top 5 very difficult because I was like, God, I could pick so many. But I didn't pick so many. I picked 5. So let's see what they are. Shall I start this particular one? Okay. 4 out of my 5 are Gen 1.
Okay.
Number 5, I'm going to make the noise that the Pokemon makes.
Okay.
And you tell me what Pokemon you think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star me?
Starmie.
Yeah. That's
Sounds
a
like
weird
Link.
noise.
It is a weird noise.
98% of the Pokemon, their noise is just their name.
Or like a syllable of their name
Yeah.
repeated or something like that. Pika, Pika.
Yeah.
You know? But Not Staryu and Starmie.
Nope.
They make karate noises. And I fucking love it.
It's hilarious.
I love it. Every time in Gen 1, Misty's like, Starmie, do you have my back? Ha! Thanks, Starmie. I knew you would. Ha! You're like, hell yeah, dude.
So funny.
Every time she like calls around, Starmie, go! And he just like pops out. Ha!
Yeah.
I just love it.
It's like a little karate
I just thought,
man.
I thought it was fucking cool. It was an awesome idea to make starfish Pokemon. It was like so cool and original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the first game, they could have done all water Pokemon as specifically different types of fish and still made them unique enough because there's nothing else. There's nothing to base it on. So like you could make 5 different fish Pokemon and make them all slightly unique, like different kinds of fish, and boom, you're good to go in the creativity department. Everyone's going to be fine with it. Mm-hmm. But no, you decided to go kind of crazy and introduce a 2-stage evolution Pokemon, Staryu into Starmie, which, hilarious that it's just you and me. Mm-hmm. But okay. And then be like, all right, we got the first one. It's orange. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's missing something, though. Let's put a big-ass jewel on it. Because we're not going to do, like, a single eyeball, because that's fucking creepy. Mm-hmm. So let's just do a giant jewel. Mm-hmm. And then, when it evolves, what happens? More spikes. More arms.
Yep.
It has twice the number of arms. We're going to make it purple, because who the fuck knows why? And the jewel is just as big. But I loved it. I've always thought it was so cool. Like its ability to go in and out of the water and like spin really quickly. Like Misty, when she gets good, she starts using it as like a ninja star and like, it flies through the air, and it's so cool.
It is cool.
But yeah, I've just always been really into Starmie.
Very good.
Yeah,
that's a good one. A classic.
I like him a lot. I also like in the newer games, Starmie can learn some wild ass moves. My Starmie knows thunder. Why? Because when me and another person throw out water Pokemon, mine is going to win. Because mine has thunder for some inexplicable reason.
There you go.
But yeah, it works. So Starmie is my number 5.
Very good. Very good.
What is yours?
My number 5 is Samurott.
Why do you do this to me?
Samurott.
Oh, I actually know who this is. Okay, this is a pretty standard Pokemon. I just never played this generation.
It is the final evolution of Oshawott.
Yes.
The middle evolution is Duat. I picked Samurott because I think it's the only like tough power Pokemon of the trio. The other two are heavy on the cute.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Which is fine, but I was going for tough, badass.
Yes.
It also has a Hisuian version that is dark type as well as water type. And looks awesome. Let me see. Wait.
Oh.
Okay, in battle, Samurott can stand on its hind limbs and use its scimitars.
Is that how you're pronouncing it? Or
SEA.
Have you made a... Wait, what?
SEA.
Okay.
MITARS.
Oh, wow. No, yeah, they changed the spelling of scimitar to be scimitar.
Scimitars to fight.
That's hilarious.
In the time it takes a foe to blink, Samurott can draw, attack with, and sheath the scimitars attached to its front legs.
That's so anime. That's so fucking anime. I just saw a TikTok about that where a guy was like, hey, give me your money. And the samurai just kind of is like, and the burglar is looking at him like, is it done?
Yeah.
Am I already dead? Oh no. He's like slowly putting his sword away, and then like you see the line appear.
It's also very SpongeBob. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
When SpongeBob's like, do you want to see me run to that rock and back?
You want to see me do it again?
Do you want to see me do it again?
Yeah. Classic SpongeBob.
It is said that Samurott can fell an opponent in one swing, and then it can silence foes with a glare or a howl.
Whoa.
Hisuian Samurott is said to have a cold and hard-hearted nature. Unlike its Unovan counterpart, which prefers to fight fair, Hisuian Samurott will do anything to win a battle and prefers to use tricks, surprise attacks, and cheap shots.
Hell yeah. That's how I fight. Cheap shots.
That's very George Costanza.
Yeah, hey. I'll do what it takes.
In the episode where Jerry is like, Elaine, who do you think would win in a fight? Me or George? And Elaine is like a real fight? Like a fisticuffs fight? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, George. And Jerry's like, what do you mean? Why? George fights dirty. And Jerry's like, what do you mean? What would you do? And George is like, anything I gotta do. Eyes, groin, hair. I'll do anything. It's like, yeah.
That's literally how I feel.
Yeah.
If it really came down to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends.
If I was fighting for my life, I would do anything.
Yeah, for sure. If
there's no fighting fair, you attacked me.
Yeah, for some reason. I can't imagine, unless I decide to go into competitive fighting. There's no reason for me to fight fair.
Yeah.
Because presumably, it's not good that we're fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5, Samurott.
That was a fun one.
Thank you.
Okay. So that was your number 5. My number 4, I believe this came up in one of your lists previously.
Okay.
I believe it was under the ice types because my number 4 is Cloyster.
Oh, I love Cloyster.
Yeah. I've always been a big fan. But then again, I also don't remember because nowadays, if I play a Pokemon game and a Cloyster or a Shelter comes up, I'm immediately like, I need this fucking Pokemon. But back in the day, Red and Blue, by the time you even see a Shelter like that you can catch, and not like a one that you're battling, forget it. Your Pokemon are probably so much more high level than it at this point.
Yeah.
That you would have to spend, and the way that you have to grind if you're not using the rare candy cheat, insane. So like, it's just like, it sucks to have to try and like evolve it into a Cloyster.
Yeah.
But I do love it so much. Yeah, I think it's really, really, really cool.
I love its mean face.
There was one, it does use a water stone to evolve, so it's not like you have to level it up to evolve it, but still, you know what I mean? But it's just so freaking cool. And I remember it being, it is owned by the first Final Four that you go against, or Elite Four, or whatever they're called, in Red and Blue. Are you cold?
Freezing.
Yeah, I'm also pretty cold.
Yeah, and I have to pee.
Goosey pumpies.
Oh.
But yeah, I love Cloyster. I think Cloyster's fucking cool. There's that first person in the Elite Four that you battle against, and I forget what her name is, but she has a bunch of ice Pokemon. Like she has a Jinx and a Dugong and a Cloyster and all this stuff, and they're just an Lapras and they're just Aurora beaming the shit out of you. And all like the ice types, even though at that time ice type was like kind of a thing, but like not a thing. But yeah, I just remember Cloyster always being so fucking cool.
Cloyster is awesome.
Huge defense, and then just trying to find a way to make the attack work. But I was always really into her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought she was really cool.
In the show, I just met Bertha of the Elite Four. Yeah.
Interesting.
And Flint.
Yeah, they always call them the Elite Four, but they're from different generations, so some of those names are a mystery to me. But yeah.
Cool. Cloyster. Love Cloyster. Classic.
Number 4.
Would love to have one. I feel like that'd be my Pokemon partner if I was a pirate.
A Cloyster?
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for my number 4?
I'm ready.
I didn't know this Pokemon existed until the show.
Yeah.
Phione. Phione.
Phione.
It's the Sea Drifter Pokemon.
Oh boy.
It is not known to evolve, but it can be obtained by breeding Manaphy with Ditto. What? It is a member of the Sea Guardians with Manaphy. It's so cute. It's this little bulbous head with a long ponytail.
Yeah.
And it's got like a teeny body with no legs, but round arms.
Ridiculous.
It inflates the sack on its head to drift in the water and search for food. When the water grows warm, it will drift in packs with other members of its species. No matter how far it has drifted, it will always return to the place where it was born. Phione are known to hatch from eggs laid by Manaphy, although the relationship between the two species is still unknown. Phione and Manaphy are the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Take Heart. They first appear in an episode called Hold the Phione.
Rips out your heart.
Yeah.
I've taken your heart. For some reason, that's what I was picturing, is like a full like Magua from Last of the Mohicans move, which is a deep cut.
One that I don't know.
Shout out to my Last of the Mohicans fans. Daniel Day-Lewis, you guys, you know what's up.
All two of you.
Okay. What
Okay.
do you mean? Yo, me and Josh love Last of the Mohicans. We talk about it all the time.
You and Josh makes two.
How dare you?
So, in the episode Hold the Phione,
Okay.
they're in Chocovine Town.
Like, hold the phone?
Yep.
So stupid.
They're in Chocovine Town, and a Phione falls in love with Dawn's Baneri.
The interspecies love of Pokemon is fascinating.
Yeah. But Baneri loves Pikachu. So, again,
Makes more sense.
Pokemon love triangle.
Yeah.
But the Phione's really cute. They all go to see it on like an underwater, like a submarine. They go to see the Phione in the waters of the town. And I can't remember, there was nothing written about this, which made me mad, but in the episode, they either go to see the Phione, like everyone in the town goes to see them because
it's rare.
if you see one, it gives you good luck.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you see one, you can like make a wish and it'll come true. Something. It's one of those.
Double whammy, yeah.
But it's really cute. It fights for Baneri's love. It does not get it. Because Baneri loves Pikachu. But it's just so stinking cute.
But learning how to take rejection is important.
It is. It is 1 foot tall and 6 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just a little guy.
It's a little guy. And
I love
it's super cute, yeah. So that's my next one.
Phione. How do you feel about submarines? Are you pro? Are you pro or are you anti?
That's a great question.
Like a submersible, not like a military sub.
I'm pro other people being in submarines. Yeah. I'm anti me being in a submarine.
Yeah. It does feel wild. The idea of being in one is nuts to me. Like, just... I can't help it. My brain goes full, like, Final Destination, and I just think of the worst things that could happen.
Yeah, I'm too afraid of, like, seeing the glass windshield, like, crack, and then, like, spider web, and then just getting suffocated by water and dying. Yeah. That's what I feel like would happen if I ever went in a submarine.
For sure.
So.
Freaks me out.
No, thanks. Other people can do it.
Speaking of weird stuff like that, weird transportation, I found out recently that astronauts, when they're in space, they can't use normal salt and pepper because it's like a powder, if you consider it that, you know. And it'll float around. It can get into the instruments. It could get into all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they can't do it like that. So they have like liquefied forms.
Wow.
That you have to put on the food because the liquid will stick to the object.
Life as an astronaut must be wild. If you're in space.
It's insane. I find it so interesting. Yeah. Which is interesting in and of itself because I would never.
Oh, I would never go to space.
Never, dude.
I would never go to space. But I do enjoy the TikTok I saw of an astronaut lady talking about how they don't need to lay down to sleep because they don't.
Oh, I saw that one
They don't have the sensation of laying down.
Yeah, because there's no gravity.
Because there's no gravity.
There's no, like, whether you're like sleeping like this, floating, or sleeping like this,
you feel the same.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh God.
I will say the closest I'll ever get to space is Mission Space in Disney World, and the first time I went on the orange side where they say you feel G-forces, I threw up. So it's not for me.
It's not for you.
Well, what's your next Pokemon?
Alright, that's really funny. Okay, so I did Cloyster, so I'm on my number 3. Number 3 is the only non-Gen 1 one. I had to pick it because it is one of my all-time favorite starters, And it's so interesting. It's from Sword and Shield, so I'll just tell you right now. It's Inteleon.
Yeah.
I fucking
You do love Inteleon.
Inteleon. I think he is so cool. He is like possibly one of the coolest Pokemon ever. And when I say cool, I mean like fucking like
suave.
Flip up my leather jacket and just kind of ride a motorcycle.
Very Danny Zuko.
Very Danny Zuko. Just too cool for school kind of guy. And then I find out that he is like specifically a sniper. He has all these different abilities that make him really good at this. He can change colors and like become invisible in like mist. In the show, they meet like who is it? Go, his friend Go, Goh, has a Sobble, which is the first one, and it's so cute, but it also is like it cries constantly, and then when it cries and its own tears kind of touch it, it turns invisible, and its crying makes other things cry.
Wow.
Like if the tears get on you, like you'll start to cry like onions. But then they meet an Inteleon, and the Inteleon is a movie star who plays a super spy.
Very Johnny Cage.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Very Johnny Cage. Great reference. My foot itches. Yeah, I was just like, oh, this guy's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
The way he has a move called Snipe Shot, and he literally was like, and just shoots a beam of like pressurized water out of its fingertip. And then when you do the Gigantamax thing, you know, the one where it kind of changes form a little bit, but gets really big. His tail becomes insanely long, and it like helps form a, what are they called? Like cyclones, I think.
Okay.
Like a water tornado, for lack of a better word. And it lays on the top of this, and it looks down with a sniper. Like it's
incredible.
The coolest thing. I was just obsessed with it. I was like, God, this guy's so fucking cool. I was just really into him. I just thought he was the bee's knees.
I thought you would pick. I would have been surprised if you didn't pick that one.
Yeah, I had to put Inteleon on the list. I just think he's such a badass. I named mine Goth Kid, and I still have him technically because I refused to redo that game. Yeah, it's awesome. But he's just an absolute tank. Yeah, it's very cool. I've done so many amazing things with that little guy. I love him.
It'd be a great Pokemon partner.
It would be a really fun Pokemon partner. Although, obviously, it looks very much like a Pokemon, but also it's starting to approach too humanoid on the spectrum of humanoid and animal. But nonetheless, super fucking cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy because you could take a handful of these Pokemon, like Inteleon, and you could just transfer it to a different show and be like, no, in this anime, this is fully a person, and they talk. And you wouldn't have to change the design at all. You would just have to be like, and he's from Atlantis, or he's from this other moon. Yes. And that's why he looks this way, but he's like a person.
Yeah, you could.
You could totally do it with a lot of them. Masquerada. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so many Pokemon. Gallade or Galaria or whatever the other one is, or Machamp, Macho. Like there's
they're very humanoid.
Million Pokemon that you could just transfer over and be like, no, these aren't animals. These are like fully people. Yeah. Which, I don't know. Is that the vibe that Pokemon wants to put out there? I don't know. Anyway,
remains to be seen.
That's my number 3. Inteleon. Bring it on, come on.
Mine is Piplup.
Piplup. Very cute.
Wouldn't have chosen Piplup before I watched the show. It is Dawn's Pokemon partner. Yes. They do hit an episode where Piplup goes to evolve, but then it stops itself from evolving, and then you learn that Piplup is like Pikachu, where it doesn't want to evolve. Oh. So it just stays Piplup.
Interesting.
And Piplup's personality in the show is so funny. Like, it loves Dawn, and it gets super jealous when she gets, like, new Pokemon that she, like, fawns over. And Piplup, like, always puts its, like, wings or whatever, its hands on its hips, and just yells. Like, and it has, like, anime style, like where its face gets huge.
Yeah.
And it's like yelling. And it's like so sassy, and like even though it's super small, like anytime it's not afraid of anything, so anytime like a huge Pokemon like a Rhyperion comes like across their path and tries to fight them, Piplup's like, I'll fucking take you down.
Yeah.
I'm an inch tall and you're a mountain, but like let's go.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cute.
That was cute.
And
he's just a little penguin guy.
It's just a little penguin. It's the penguin Pokemon. Yeah, it has a strong sense of self-pride. Because of its pride, it has a hard time accepting food from humans and bonding with its caretakers. It'll even puff out its chest after it falls down, which it often does due to its poor walking abilities.
Happy Pride Month.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it trips, and then it stands up and puffs out its chest, and is like
no one saw that. Like, who's gonna say something?
Yeah. Yeah, so cute. It's a foot
Very
tall,
cute.
and it's 11 pounds.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, Piplup.
Piplup is a good pick.
In Japanese, Pochama.
Pochama.
Yeah.
And then the final evolution is Empoleon.
Empoleon.
Pretty cool.
Prinplup and then Empoleon. Barry has an Empoleon.
Oh, very interesting. And can you check, is Empoleon ice and water?
Empoleon.
I'm willing to bet it is.
Is water and steel.
Steel?
Probably because of the thing on its face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take our one penguin Pokemon, not including Ice Cube. I cannot believe you picked that for that top 5 for Ice type. That was insane. Okay. Anything else about Piplup?
Nope.
Okay. We're on the
to the
top
next.
2. All right. My top 2. It's so hard to really nail down my favorites of this subgenre of Pokemon. I think this one might be up there. It's like this one and another one share. There's like 3 that all kind of circle around my top 3.
Okay.
And kind of switch depending on my mood. But obviously, I'm talking about Vaporeon. The other 2 EV evolutions are Jolteon and Espeon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Vaporeon. I fucking love Vaporeon. I didn't think that I would because it has like webbing and like kind of some, I don't know, very interesting
like fish
Pokemon.
vibes,
but it has more mermaid vibes.
Yeah.
That's how I want to look at it. But I've just been super into them. I just think they're fucking adorable and amazing. I like that they have a long tail that has like fishtail vibes. And I have always loved, I mentioned this with Muck, I mentioned this with several other episodes. I used to be obsessed with the Pokemon move Acid Armor.
It's cool to watch in the show.
They turn like straight up invisible too.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you can't see me at all.
Yeah.
But it just boosts their defense super fucking high. And in the old game, it was only I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that only Muck and Vaporeon were like the only 2 Pokemon that could learn that move in Red and Blue. And I was always like, God, this move is so sick.
Yeah.
So I always use that. But yeah, I just always thought having a Vaporeon is sick. It's just like really fun. It's a really cool Pokemon to have. I used to like having it for like surf and stuff like that in the games where that mattered. That doesn't matter anymore. But
Vaporeon is cool.
I just think really,
I think it's Tony's favorite EV evolution.
He'd be right.
Yeah.
He'd be correct in that in that presumption, because it is the best. It is so good. I love it so much.
Cool. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vaporeon is my number 2.
Nice. Very nice. My number 2 is Ludicolo.
Ludicolo? Really?
The carefree Pokemon.
is a lot of this I feel like has to do with what you're currently watching.
It does. Brock had a Ludicolo.
Oh, let me guess. He
left it behind
to protect something.
But I think he left it with Professor Oak. But it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It just dances and shouts Ludicolo and just like is so funny and just like yelling and dancing all the time.
That's really funny.
Bulbapedia describes it as a mixture of a pineapple and a duck.
Great.
It wears a sombrero like thing on its head, similar to a lily pad. It is a water and grass type. It is absolutely crazy. As it becomes more energetic and active, it breaks into dance. Ludicolo becomes more powerful when it hears festive music and will appear near laughing children on hikes. Ludicolo is rarely found in the wild, though they can be found near the water's edge.
Amazing.
Brock's Ludicolo makes an appearance in the episode titled Once in a Mawile.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They're clever with the episode titles.
They sure are.
But I just think it's so funny in the Pikachu Pokemon Detective movie. The Ludicolo is like a bar back. They're in a bar, and the Ludicolo is just like behind the bar, which I think is so funny.
Yeah.
Also, the Japanese translation is Run Papa.
Run Papa.
Which is
I like that you take
equally
these,
as funny.
You take these Japanese. You take these Japanese translations. First of all, I'm pretty sure that the Japanese doesn't always. It's not always like Ludicolo in Japanese. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's totally different. Yeah. And it's just like this is what we call it in Japanese. And then because then it lists under the Japanese characters. Mm-hmm. It says it lists it in English, using the English alphabet, and then you put an American inflection on it, which makes it really funny because it's RUNPAPPA, all one word, and for you to just go Run Papa is like what you did there. Yeah,
it's definitely not pronounced like that. Because I don't speak Japanese or have a Japanese accent.
Yeah, it's safer for you to not use a Japanese accent. I would request.
Yeah. But yeah, Ludicolo is my number 2.
That's hilarious.
I would love to have one. I feel like it would be your best friend.
It would be a lot of fun. Yeah. I imagine that there would be times having Pokemon around would be so weird. I'm thinking of like the times where I'm a very moody person.
Yes.
And sometimes I get in moods, you know? Yes. Like I get in a bad mood and I'm like, I'm in the mode right now where like, if I stub my toe, I'm putting a hole in the wall. Yeah. That sometimes my like irritability gets to that level where I'm like, if anyone does anything to inconvenience me, I will unleash fury onto them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get in those moods and it's not fun. I don't like being in them. But I think sometimes I would be very curious to be like, what is it like if I'm in that mode and Ludicolo's like, Ludicolo! And I'm like, get away from me, Ludicolo. It's not a good time. And he's like, Ludicolo! And I'm like, no. Get away from me.
Just put it back in his Pokeball.
I mean, yeah, fair.
Unless it puts you in a good mood. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
That's a great one. That's your number 2. I'm really curious to see what your number 1 is. Can't be Kabutops.
It's not Kabutops.
Do you know what my number 1 is? Gen 1?
No. But if it's mine, I'll have to kill you.
Think of where I went to college. Maryland.
It's not Choodle.
How dare it would. First of all, Choodle's not Gen 1.
Is it Blastoise?
No. Although good choice. You're picking turtles because I said where did I go to school? University of Maryland. Our mascot is the Terrapin. Maryland Kingler. The right answer is Kingler. Maryland is known for crabs. It's known for crabs and Old Bay and stuff like that. You got there eventually.
Yeah.
I see where you went.
Thank you.
Choodle was a terrible pick, but I see where you went with Squirtle and Blastoise. Trust me, I love Blastoise. I love a good Shell Shocker. Mm-hmm. But it's incredible. I couldn't. I had to pick Kingler because I fucking love him. I love Ash's Krabby that evolves into a Kingler mid-battle.
Which is awesome.
And is so fucking cool.
I love any time that happens.
Oh, it's always dope.
Yeah.
But, I really, really liked Kingler. I always have. I love a good crab Pokemon to begin with. There are several crab Pokemon throughout the games that I'm into. They kind of run the gamut of like crustaceans. You know, like you get a couple of shrimp Pokemon, you get a couple of different types of crabs, lobsters, crawfish, because there's like Crawdaunt.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of them, you know.
Is there lobster?
Clawitzer. They're like lobster-ish. I don't know if like specifically lobster. But anyway. Yeah, I've always loved, I love the way that Krabby talks. Krabby and Kingler.
Yeah.
So interesting. And just it making little bubbles and stuff. And I remember it was like one of the first Pokemon that Ash caught at a certain point of his journey. Like I remember him being really excited about catching it. Oh, you know what it was? I think it was the first Pokemon that he had to give up to
Professor Oak?
Yeah, because he already had 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
So it was like this was the 7th Pokemon that he had, and then it like vanishes, and he's like, "Oh my god, no! Where did it go?" So he goes over to one of those video call things that are in the Poke Center.
Yes.
And he calls Professor Oak, and Professor Oak's like, "No, I have your Krabby right here. It's very small." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Look at Gary's Krabby."
Yep.
And Gary's Krabby is like so big, amazing, very funny. But yeah, I've just always loved having the moves like Crab Hammer, which is just a really powerful water move, and then Guillotine, which is one of those moves where you only get 5 tries. But if it hits, and it only has like a 20% chance of hitting, but if it hits, instant 1-hit KO. Man,
awesome.
when it hits,
Yeah.
and you see a giant crab claw come out of the ground and like snatch up a Pokemon, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. Kingler.
Yeah.
So cool.
That is awesome.
Oh, I love it. And he's got that like, some crabs have that thing where the one claw is like way bigger
It's
than the other
huge,
claw,
yeah.
and that's what Kingler has.
Yeah.
Kingler
is a great. Kingler and Krabby are both great Pokemon.
They are great because they also make them cute. Like they're cute enough to get by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're crabs. Like crabs are. I mean, we've all seen at least clips of what Sebastian is going to look like in the new Little Mermaid.
I saw it in Australia.
Oh, you saw the movie? What'd you think? Overall, like rating 1 through 10. We don't have to talk a ton about it.
Yeah. 7.
7. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll talk more about that
Yeah.
maybe on another episode because it's getting pretty long. So
Yeah.
my number 1 is Kingler. I love crabs in general. I have always wanted to make a team of all crab Pokemon and just do that, but it's hard sometimes because
That would be hard.
sometimes the one crab Pokemon is not in your game; it's in the other version. Now I have to trade and trade.
Yeah, I hear you.
Very
Very good though.
So my number 1
Kingler.
is a Kingler.
Okay, awesome. My number 1 is the best Pokemon of all time.
Magikarp.
Yep, Magikarp. Psyduck.
Oh, of course.
I love Psyduck so much.
How could I not see that coming?
It's so cute. It's got air for brains, which reminds me so much of Olive.
Yeah.
That it like really just hits home. Like watching Psyduck in all the episodes just be so stupid.
Like, I already have one of these.
Yeah. If Olive was yellow, she literally would be Psyduck. It's the duck Pokemon. It does evolve into Golduck, which is cool, but like, I just love Psyduck.
Yeah.
I love when Misty's in the show, and every time she calls out, when she has Psyduck, every time she calls out a different Pokemon, Psyduck just pops out.
Not you.
Yeah. And she's like, not you! And it's just so cute. Psyduck is constantly stunned by its headache and is unable to think clearly. It usually stands immobile, trying to calm its headache. However, when its headache becomes too severe, Psyduck releases tension in the form of strong psychic powers.
That is a shitty existence, though.
Oh, yeah, terrible.
That's. I'm just thinking about Mom. What if Mom was a Psyduck her whole life and she just didn't know?
She pretty much is. Except she doesn't have... Mom has brains. She just has...
She also has
Psyduck
constant headaches and migraines.
Yeah, she does.
And one day she's going to,
terrible.
bring the house down.
I know.
She's gonna unleash your psychic powers. Sorry.
Yeah, the use of these powers produces brainwaves identical to those seen in sleepers, And the Pokemon is unable to recall these episodes.
Mm.
So Psyduck has a migraine, explodes, and then doesn't remember any of it.
What a life.
Which is just so funny.
It is crazy.
Yeah, it's so dopey. It's derpy.
It's both dopey and derpy.
It's both dopey and derpy. I love that the investigative girl in the Pikachu detective movie has one. And it just follows her around and is so cute. And then they just make constant jokes about how they're walking around with a ticking time bomb. And if, like, Psyduck gets too stressed and Pikachu has to be like, calm down, it's okay, it's fine, just relax. And Psyduck is just freaking out, and I just think he's so cute.
He's very
I
good.
love him. I would absolutely love to have Psyduck as a Pokemon partner.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about
love
the Psyduck-centered episode in the Journeys?
I don't. Yeah, someone's room.
Yeah,
As,
there's the main professor of this season, and he's got two people underneath him who are like research assistants or whatever you want to call them. And one of them is a woman, and something happens one of the days where like the professor's daughter has to go with her and like chill at her house. I forget exactly what happens. But when she's there, she sees like everything in the entire apartment is like Psyduck themed. Mm-hmm. Everything, you know, like, and eventually she like tells this story about how there's this one time where she was sad and she met this boy, and the boy had a Psyduck, and the boy and the Psyduck were so nice to her, and all this different stuff. And then simultaneously as that's happening, you meet this boy and his Psyduck, or I say boy, it's like a young man because the research assistant is like a woman. So they're appropriate age. And Ash and Go end up meeting this Psyduck with the person. And then eventually they all link up and they're like, yeah, it's so weird. We just met this Psyduck with this guy. And she's like, what kind of Psyduck was it? And they're like, oh, he wore a scarf. And it was like, that's the Psyduck. So the little girl is like, the professor's daughter is like, oh my God, we have to get them together. They're going to be like, they're falling in love. Like, we could be matchmakers and da-da-da-da. And finally gets them to be together, like forces a meet cute, like very Parent Trap style. And the girl is like, oh my God, it's you. I never thought I'd see you again. And then like slow motion runs, passes by the guy and goes right for the Psyduck and hugs the Psyduck and is like, so you're so beautiful. I never thought I'd see you again, my little baby. And just like fully is like, the girl's like, I don't think I understand adults and love. And you find out that it's like, she doesn't give a shit about this guy. She only cares about his Psyduck, and it's very funny.
I'm telling you, the power of Psyduck.
It was cute.
Psyduck is for the girls, the gays, and the theys.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Pride Month.
All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, no, this has been almost a 2-hour episode. This is a long one, but this is our last one. Yeah. This is our last top 5 Pokemon. So
Pokemon
thank
finale.
you so much for sticking with us. We're gonna do other series in the future, but please let us know. Remember, guys, Hessy and Maven, name of the podcast, available everywhere you listen to podcasts. You'll know that because you're currently listening to the podcast, presumably. Then we also have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a YouTube, all at Hessy and Maven, one word. Okay. Also have an email address, you know it, hessyandmaven@gmail.com. Send us in your thoughts, your questions, your ideas. We want to hear from you, okay? Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Hessy and Maven. Please tune in next time where we talk about something else.
Bye!